Do you want me to start from the beginning?
Like that, right? Start again.
Well, rolling the dice, I think this is how my fairy story comes to a close. A shadow of my former self, a ghost with bones, finished tulips.
But you understand where I'm coming from. You're fit enough to leave.
The devil has decided that I must suffer in this sickness. He has taken the roses away from my cheeks and left thorns in my chest. It seems only right to follow the fate, a most poetic force, and let myself expire in this linen nest.
I think you're going to feel weak for a little while, but I encourage you to return to your normal duties. I'll have the replicator whip up some nutritional pellets for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, primrose divinity, a lavender feature parties. I am now so barred from attending. The frocks and the wine and music that shall never grace my bosom. The way things go have a cruel beauty to make one fade away while they lust for such flights of hedonism.
Honestly, I think I'm going to have to get you head scanned. There's no reason in this day and age why I should have to put up with...
Afternoon.
Good morning.
So what's going on here? You feeling all right?
Oh, Gail, I fear I will only glance upon you again for but a handful of coming sunrises.
Yvette's been poisoned, but she's fine. Just a little bit of synthetic venom in her system. I've been trying to get her out of bed and back on deck, but as you can see...
Poisoned?
Luckily, it's not a serious concentration.
Isn't any amount of arsenic in her blood something to be wary of?
Maybe 40 years ago, but we flushed Yvette's system and given her minor stem cell shots. It's perfectly reasonable to be seeing her on her way by now.
What if she gets poisoned again? Hang on, aren't you at all curious why she ended up in the medical suite in the first place? If someone's gone to this trouble already, why wouldn't they have another go?
Yes, I understand, but that's not my job.
What?
I think I deserve a little bit more respect.
As a medical bay manager, it's my obligation to maintain personnel fluidity and make sure patients get discharged in good time. No special treatment for any rank.
I think you're being harsh. You should really try it.
If this is how the conversation is going, I'm honestly not interested.
Well, I'm pretty curious, Bryn. Yvette?
Some fool beast has decided he'd rather see my horse be hobbled. I feel so much like a mouse in a box, a pussy's breath pressed against the lid.
Right. Actually, if having a discussion now will get this bed empty by tomorrow, then I'm more on board. Perhaps we could go over recent events.
You fell ill after the party a few days ago, right? And you sure you didn't poison yourself?
I certainly didn't intend to.
So maybe someone there was out to get you for some reason.
And what a dreadful reason it must be to point powder barrels at sweet little Yvette.
I think it was early morning that she signed into medbay. However, it's unlikely that this was an attempt on her life.
But she was poisoned!
They must have put nightshade in my tipple. What is that?
I've already said that it's clearly not enough to be fatal. Unless they were hypoxic, I don't think...
So we're dealing with an idiot. Someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Maybe whoever it was wanted to scare you, but I don't know.
Oh.
That makes sense to me at least.
I am rather shaken. Well, maybe the school won't be superbly interested in striking once more. If it's all this fuss is over just a little speaking.
No, I think what she means is it's like a power play. Like a social politics thing. Bryn?
I would assume so. Definitely not just for fun and games.
Yes, and maybe we shall come to uncover a whole web of deceit and lies and twisted clashing romanticisms.
It's likely to be a lot more mundane than that.
A play may be afoot. There are such a number of suspects. Perhaps it was Barty, or Richard, or the old maid, or one of two, or Griselda or Doyle.
Who's Doyle? Is he locked?
He's some guy who started showing up here a couple of weeks ago. He's a bit strange.
Is this someone you've had relations with?
I would never do such a thing with such a man. And if I did, then he should be quite satisfied with that.
But you've come into contact with him at this party.
He carried with him faintly peculiar smell.
So, yes.
Oh, I didn't know. It was all so untamed. It was great, but it was untamed.
Would it be wrong to say maybe your lifestyle has started to catch up to you?
Hang on, you can't just put the blame on a vet. Who's going to be checking for poison at a party?
I'm a free spirit. It was not within my nature to be scrolling down in my mind like little occurrence. Wait, no. Every little occurrence. I'm rather offended.
You take offence to that. I think I'm being pretty reasonable.
Please just stay focused. That's not what's being discussed right now.
If there was some security...
Of course we have guards for. We have guards for every party.
I mean, you could reach out to them. Like, to see if they noticed anything about Doyle.
What kind of person is he?
I mean, people get a bad vibe.
It was suggested that he harbours quite a resentment towards my entourage. Notes general murmuring, things of that nature.
Yeah, like lads' group chats and stuff.
Pause for but a moment. Something you murmured earlier. Do you think this was an attempt to correct what one may perceive as tilted scales?
Me?
I think it was a shared suggestion.
Ah.
But yes, obviously there's a power imbalance between you and a lot of the other residents.
And these detractors clearly hate me for my looks. They are green with jealousy.
I can't help but think it might be deeper than that.
Related, but different.
But I really do think that this is the case. For roses are prized over soil, thus is why they symbolize so very much. The beauty of the rose is clearly why it carries such influence.
Well, to me that all just suggests it's something to do with your lifestyle. Maybe you're not calling for it, but it makes you a target.
I think I agree. This is primarily a research base after all, not somewhere suited to frequent celebrations. These parties that you're so attached to would understandably bring you criticism.
Well, if it is Doyle, it makes sense that someone like Doyle or someone Doyle's in with would want to make you scared or something?
They want my Rose the world.
And that is exactly why you should leave medical, should they've not been phased.
Is it not too late for that?
I wouldn't make that assessment.
But I still shiver. I won't be safe out there either. What's the point of leaving one prison just to be shackled again?
Is that a fair analysis of the situation, though?
You need to just, get your claws out.
And how do you suppose I do that?
You have people who work for you.
But you feel like you're in prison somehow.
I think that was more of a turn of phrase. I think she means she sees, the city itself as the obstacle. Like a big cage. She's like those puppies you see in the pet shop window.
Oh, boo. What I mean is, I won't be able to be myself. To dance without hamper and looking over one's shoulder. I shall be ever so shaken if a knife were to find me while I slumber defenceless.
Well, I feel like what I said is still true.
I don't know why you're looking at me. I'm just taking this all at face value. I don't want to be involved.
Oh, shut up.
Fairly, I'd be hard-pressed to decode your interpretation.
So what's going to happen now? Doyle gets arrested and then sent off base?
I suppose that is what is to happen. And Lord hoping I shall feel a little safer, and doubly overcome this poison.
I mean, I think it's clear that I definitely don't trust him or whatever, but isn't all the evidence circumstantial? I guess maybe there's some video or CCTV. Never mind.
That's a good point.
I'm hoping my own bravery will not go unrewarded.
Well, I'd say that you two should meet tomorrow with some of the ordnance staff and go over some of the relevant surveillance.
You're leaving us to it?
All of that medical information is on file, and I'm glad that she's finally decided to leave the med bay.